Hello and welcome to another episode of the Almondview podcast. I am your host, Jake Pointer, and joined by me tonight is my good old buddy, old pal, Mr. Stephen Povey.
Hello there.
Tonight we are all aboard the Positive Povey train with a 2-1 victory over Ross County at the Tony Mac. Although we are going into the international break, we will have our preview of another must-win game at the Panda Pad in Paisley. And lastly, it's Povey's turn to take me on at Livy's Guess Who. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rejuvenated. We are 6 points off bloody third and with some hugely winnable games before the split. So cross your fingers, cross your toes and cross your bits as we slide into top 6ville, my fellow felines. So sit back and relax with us here at the Almondview podcast.
Choo choo.
So, Mr. Povey, a great result of the weekend with goals from Newbley and Devlin to bring us the victory. Now, I'm not sure if it was just I was just a bit steaming, but I felt the start was quite scrappy and almost kind of dull. Kind of definitely dull start to the game. Were you expecting that before coming into the game?
Yeah, well, actually, funnily enough, it was like tables turned there because I'm usually the one with the beers in me, but I was driving to the game because I had a concert that night that I was driving to. So yeah, I got a bit of clarity in this one. I was surprised. I was kind of got there just after kickoff, so I kind of missed the first wee minute or so. I actually missed. It must have happened really early that mad challenge that was then on Sports Scene. They couldn't understand why Shamal George wasn't sent off. I missed it in person, so I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I came just after that, and I believe what word of mouth is that it was offside. So after that, so I missed that. Obviously, that was obviously a chance for them. But after that, it was really, really boring, man. Probably the most bored I've been. And man, bear in mind, I didn't have a beer in me, so it made it well worse. I was like, what? At that point, I thought this is going to be a grim afternoon. Certainly, viewing wise, was unsure what we had in us. Just didn't seem to get going at all. Certainly didn't have the vibes that we showed in the start of the Dundee United game. And to be honest, the start of loads of our games in recent times, we've started off well and chucked it. It's kind of been a wee story of the recent games / story of the season. Sort of started off well and kind of chucking it. However, it's so good that what happened after that, we're out of nowhere getting 2 goals in quick succession, and the game's totally changed in our favour against the run of play. Like it was all County, in my opinion. It was they weren't doing much with it really. It was just a sort of dull game in that sense where they didn't really do too much. They had a couple of weird chances where they just hit it wide from outside the box sort of style. But it's not that we defended badly. It's not that we attacked badly. It's just we didn't seem to have much control. However, I think I would much rather happen what happened. Like for the rest of the season, I'll happily score goals against the run of play and get the points that needed. It didn't. I knew it wasn't going to be a thriller before the game. To be honest, man, I was sort of like, I knew it was going to be a tough one. I was sort of talking about it last week, saying it's important we get the 3 points, and we done that. So yeah, that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, the Shamal thing was kind of interesting. I didn't realise how bad it was kind of at the time. when he kind of clattered against them. But they got up pretty quickly. But it did look pretty painful. But as Carson said on his tweet, like that shit's unavoidable. Is avoidable. Sorry, if it's offside, raise your, get the flag. I know they're not meant to now, but I don't know. I think it's quite a
this rule is
shite rule.
it's really annoying a lot of fans around me, I've noticed, and to be honest, I reckon I'm in a wee bit of the stadium in the stand where the fans around me don't get frustrated that easily compared to other parts of the stand. I know you've got something to say on that, but personally, I really like where I sit. People around me don't get annoyed that easily in terms of like they're pretty supportive and all that. But this offside continuing when it's clearly offside, it's frustrating. But there you are. There's an example of why it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous rule. It's a rule I really don't see lasting too much longer for that reason.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think they were maybe waiting for an instance of that kind of happening and need to kind of create that evidence. So yeah, fucking let's anyway, we're keeping positive. We're not saying fuck the SFA just yet. So I don't know if you were able to really see the lineup if you said like you were driving on the way, but when I was sat with Connor and my dad and his dad, it's quite funny. Our dads had this little kind of moment together and they were taking each other's number. It was pretty hilarious. Connor's dad spoke to my dad and said that he compared me to being quite a shy person, which
that's why you do the podcast.
Mate, I told my fiance that when I go home and she was like, I have never heard anyone ever call you shy in a life. I'm assuming he thinks I'm Thomas Froh still. Like, I'm convinced like he still thinks this
it's a shy English boy.
Yeah, genuinely, every time he's drunk, he asks me about like Rebecca's signed shirt or something like that. I just don't think he realizes.
How's your Doug doing?
How's wee Doug? I don't know. Sorry, back on point. Penrice started on the right hand side of the three, which seemed a little bit of a Davy Martindale-esque kind of move. But like we said, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't work, you are questioning it. But what was your kind of initial thoughts when you thought that? Were you quite positive about it, or were you a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake?
No, I was probably with the majority and thinking, well, why not Bradley, who's been so good attacking on that side? But obviously it worked. But I had again a bit of hindsight with it. Penrice was lethal up, and it was on the left-hand side, to be fair, with going forward. Now that I'm thinking about it, he was in left-back with Stephen Kelly, but the way he shoots forward is so dangerous. So I can see why, attacking-wise, on that right-hand side, it probably works. But also, I've got to say that Devlin's been getting pelters, and I know we're going to mention that in a second, but on the Penrice point, maybe Penrice being able to cover defensively from the right-hand side, even though he's a left-back, but he is a defender. So, like, maybe there was a bit of that in the thought. Like, Devlin, like, if he has Bradley in front of him, Bradley's not an attacker, and we like Devlin going forward, but he has to get covered, and maybe Penrice is able to shoot back, and maybe that was a bit of the thinking as well, actually, more than just, well, why is it not Bradley, like, thinking forward-wise, but actually defence-wise, Penrice is a defender, so maybe there was that in the selection decision. Listen, it worked, so it's hard to say it, and that first goal, it was Penrice's beautiful cross in. I mean, that was pinpoint. What a brilliant ball in. So effective in that position, certainly against Ross County anyway, who it might not work against stronger opposition, Penrice playing in that position, but it certainly worked against County.
Yeah, and definitely from the word go, when I saw it, I was like, okay, he's wanting someone to cut in and create that kind of cross into the box instead of, say, a Devlin kind of on the right foot. And so, I mean, that's exactly what he did, and he plopped it right on the big Nubly's head. But we will talk about that a wee bit later on. So let's go through the game a little bit more. So County did actually have a few kind of early chances, especially their one at the back post, which from watching the highlights, it did look more dangerous than I thought at the time. And it did feel like kind of Louis, again, maybe we kind of let it go, maybe could have done better, and we got a bit fortunate. Again, I'm not shitting on him by any means because I think he was really great. But actually, that's my point. I'm going to want to talk about him. The couple of little moments with Louis, but in general, really positive, controls the ball really well. Again, another really strong performance from him, would you say?
So I kind of follows on from what I said about Luigi last week. He he's still early in his career with us. He's come in midway through the season, so there's always going to be a risk of letting things go past him, not dealing with things properly. I think we did see a couple of instances again, as you say, but it's going to happen. But it's probably worth it for how brilliant he is on the ball. And to be honest, see some of his balls going that he plays up the park. It's almost like we've been missing that a wee bit in recent times. I'm not saying first half of the season, some of the balls from the defenders up the park, thinking of Boys, for example, and Fitzwater, or even some of his delivery, absolutely brilliant. But Luigi's definitely brought that on. So getting the ball up the park and really, really dangerous balls to Bruce Anderson, and particularly I noticed, so it's bringing him into the game. But yeah, not the full article in my opinion yet, but certainly I wouldn't be dropping him. He's got to start. He's Luigi. He's looking good. And he seems to be a fan's favourite, certainly around the area of the stand I'm at. Everyone's gets excited when he's on the ball and when he wins the ball back. And yeah, it's certainly a good addition to the team. And needed. We needed something. I agree, though. See, just thinking on that, what you're saying about our whole game right now. In recent times, we've been giving away this over-the-top ball. It's not his fault. It's like the whole defence right now needs to deal with. That was happening again on Saturday. It was, and their goal actually kind of came from that. We're still letting that happen, and it is a bit. It needs dealt with. It needs addressed. It was better defensively on Saturday, but there's still work to be done. I don't know why we've been found out in a way. The scouts are doing their homework because that ball over going forward for the opposition, we're not dealing with it. And we're letting too many opportunities come from that.
And set pieces as well, I think, man. Like, I still feel a little bit not that confident when teams have got corners. No, naturally, as a Livy fan, you're always a little bit when you see a corner for another team, just naturally. But with Livy at the moment, I'm shiting myself a little more than I have, just because we have been leaking it in that sort of way. I felt Shamal did a lot more. Even see him just coming out at one point and doing a bit of a daft punch. I'm kind of don't mind that too much because I feel we've maybe been lacking that. There's been a little bit of hesitation. But yeah, like you said, positive. But also, what I was going to make a point of, he seems to fucking love it. Like, I know that's such a silly thing to say, and
I
that's
get
why
that.
people are fans' favourite. Like, I've got him on Instagram, and it's all like Forza Livy, yes, Livingston, and reposting. It's not just reposting himself from Halfie's pictures; it's like other people, and he seems to be really supportive of the team, and seems like a bit of positive kind of energy about. And I know that's such a simple thing, but when someone's coming in late and they look like they're having a fucking great time and they're loving it and they're loving being a part of the club, it's great. You want them to play every week.
I've been bloody going Luigi on Mario Kart because of his impact he's had. Like, literally, that's how sad the level it's got to. I'm like, I fucking love Luigi. Like, Luigi!
Luigi! Amazing. Well, keep it up, sir. We'll talk a little bit about Simirin after, but, I've got to say, I agree with you. I think he's got to keep starting. Now, let's talk a little bit about the goal, because Joel Newbley, I cannot imagine life without him, and I'm scared to think of a life Livingston without him now, because He's just been so incredible. But that goal, obviously, I think the pass was the main thing, but the goal kind of just looked in slow motion. He took it really well and controlled it into the corner. I mean, you would have had a better angle of it than me, I think, but great goal, great player.
Absolutely. I mean, it was, a great angle I got of it. As you say, the delivery is amazing, but Nubly's got so much to do there. But I've not seen him score a header in a while, or that none springs to mind header-wise. But that, to be stretching up for it, now you need to get power in it to place it like that, for sure. There was a long way to go from where the ball hit Nubly's head to where it crossed the line. That was just brilliant placement. And I don't know if the keeper could have done better or not, but it was certainly the best Nubly could have done in that. But again, Penrice, we gave him the credit there earlier. Absolutely magic ball in, just set on a plate. But Nubly's still got a lot to do to get that where he placed it. It could have gone straight to the keeper, for example. That would have been easier to do, hit on that side of the post.
Yeah.
But he went for that. He went for that other side across the goalie. It was a beautiful goal. And as you say, when Nubly was absent, with his injury, I thought we were doing great things, and we'd been playing really well. Some magic results we'd been getting, thinking of when he was on comms against St Johnstone away, for example. I love that game. That's the second time I've mentioned that game. I do love that. But when he's back in the team, you're like, wow, he is our best player. He is. How is he so strong and skillful, and the chances he creates, scary. He is unbelievable. I actually think he's going to continue this and onto the remainder of the season. I think he's going to have a really strong end to the season as well, because he just seems to be getting better and better every time I see him since he's come back from this injury. What a player, Unbelievable.
I know.
Man, see on the goals as well, my favourite thing happened. So obviously 2 very quick goals, and I'm assuming we're going to talk about the second goal in a wee second, but my favourite thing happened. So Connor, we'd been celebrating both goals, and then I just saw Connor come out of the pie stand, head in hand, and I was like, he's missed both the goals. And he's coming up, he's like that, hands in the air, what? Everyone else is all cheering and that, and he's raging. He's missed both the goals and watched this boring first half. He's been doing a passion and getting a pie. He said he heard the first one when he was doing a passion. He was like, oh, fuck it, I'll get a pie to cheer me up. And he heard the cheer of the second goal and he was getting the pie. Outstanding.
That's brilliant. That doesn't really. I don't know if I can't remember ever really missing a Livy goal from being in the pie, but I know Liam has missed a few stinkers, like the one in the playoff final. Have you missed any big goals from being in the pie?
Nothing springs to mind. I'm usually pretty good at timing. I don't usually go during in play. I don't usually, unless I'm desperate, Dan. So I'm pretty good at staying and watching. But nah, you must have had plenty of pints the 2 years, because he was obviously desperate.
We definitely had a few. I was a very, very hungover boy as well. So
I love that. Yeah, so funny, man.
Brilliant. Oh well, get up, you Connor. But at the same time, shame, but fuck it. So speaking very much of a very quick goal, but before we can talk about the goal, let's talk a little bit about Nicky Devlin. I think he's been getting a bit of shtick from, I've seen on Twitter, just about the general back four. I know our resident moaner Owen Innes has moaned about him a lot recently, arguably unfairly so, I would say, at some points, but he has had to step up. But you could tell from his emotion when they scored that second that he probably has been feeling a bit of frustration in his own performance and maybe towards the team for a bit. Would you agree with that? Because I loved seeing him go forward so much. I feel like we've missed him doing that.
Yeah, to be honest, we're probably the 2 best folk to be on for this episode, because like we're as big as, I mean, you're Mr. Sloppy Seconds. I'm like, I love him so much. Just like, so
Mr. Sloppy Seconds. Thank you
I
very
will
much.
not go into that, but yeah, I, I'm a big fan. Obviously, even though he's not been playing great, I think it's
Can't believe
just
you just said that.
oh, we can delete it if you want.
No, it's fine.
No, I I'm a big fan. I loved seeing him. Like it was a huge, big relief that when he scored the goal, wasn't it? Like just a big scream. Yes, he's our captain. Like, and it must be. I mean, he was gutted after like anytime we've. I spoke to him after we the Motherwell. Oh, don't know why I keep bringing it up, but yeah, I spoke to him after that, and he was as gutted as me, which is saying something because
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. So I do feel like he's absolutely loves the club and all that, and it's not been great actually. All this press, like the timing of the press, all saying Nicky Devlin's available at the end of the season, blah 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 blah. Man, the guy's been an absolute strop for us. Like he is a legend. He's a, he's a huge, huge player. And just because he's had a wee dip in form or the defence, not even necessarily him, but the defence, it's been unfair criticism. I agree. And, he had our best game for us in of the season. He was my man of the match, by the way. Nubley, very, very, I agree with it. I very much agree with why he got it. But Devlin was man of the match on Saturday for me. Easy, easy.
Yeah. And obviously an amazing strike. Do you know? I find it weird that was his first Tony Mac goal because he has celebrated one with us. If you remember when we played Dundee United and Pittman scored that ripper, but it was an own goal. But Devlin celebrated it like it was his own goal. I don't know if you remember from the Huffy's photo that he came over and was basically celebrating, but it was a total own goal. So it's funny to think that he hasn't actually scored. He's had 7 goals for the club, I think, and 1 at Tony Mac. That's weird. I always thought he just had more than that.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. Absolute screamer though, eh? Oof.
Oh,
I mean, the first hit was like, oh, what a hit. Second hit, and I'd say, oh, who was it that set him up? Was it
I think it was
Pittman?
Pitts. Pitts. Yep,
Oh,
great,
I have
great
to
will,
say,
good weight.
very, very composed because that was so well played from Pittman. I thought, like having it in the box like that, you're tempted to drive forward and have a go yourself. But to be that composed after the rebound there, get the ball down and place it so nicely for Devlin is absolute screamer. Like that's the kind of goal you'll love to see, especially nothing better than 2 goals in a row. Especially like it's been so many games since we scored 2 goals, so long, and obviously so long since we won as well. It really felt like a massive relief, and it made the rest of the game far, like for the first time in ages, far more relaxing as a fan. Even
Yeah.
at 2-1, man. Like I know we're going to go into the second half in a wee second, but at 2-0, I've just felt very, very, very happy. Obviously, particularly how bad we've been, and not bad, but like how not in it we were against the run of play, going 2-0 up. That's the kind of things that make a club good or make you deserve to be far up the league if you're still getting the goals and still winning and getting the points when you don't necessarily play that well.
And it was like they had, as soon as he scored that goal, like the confidence to go forward. I know he had kind of 2 chances. Maybe could have kept the ball a bit lower for the first attempt, but then he was kind of 1-on-1 and the keeper made quite a good save. But I like you said, I think you made a great point about Penrice, about him being able to kind of cut back when Devlin pushes forward. It's something that was so effective between him and Nubley last year. I would say Nubley's probably more going on to the left-hand side this year than kind of on the right. So I feel like it's been missing from his game when it was such a positive thing for Livy and worked so well for us for ages. So I'm hoping, and I don't know if you think this as well, that might continue. I wouldn't agree with Penrice playing there every week, as you said, but having that opportunity from Devlin to kind of keep kind of driving on. Yeah, it was amazing. So that was
Aye.
probably my two highlights of the second half, was just watching Devlin continually to expose their defence, because I think that left back was struggling a bit.
Oh, I so that, as you say, I'm glad you said it was a good save from the keeper, because for me, I mean, he's a right back at the end of the day,
I
but
know.
he couldn't have done much better. The keeper actually done really well to get out and save that, because I'm pretty sure Devlin would have slotted it home. Like, he did keep his cool, but the keeper did very well. At the end of the day, Devlin created the chance by bursting forward like that, and it was great to see him just so fired up. And
Yeah.
one more thing I just saw on Devlin. The last thing I do want to say, especially because Owen's not here, his delivery of the ball is definitely improved. Like, he's I feel like he's more effective now and going forward. And yeah, maybe not recent weeks, he's been unfortunate or whatever, but his delivery of the ball in general this season has been the best of the 4 years he's been here.
No, I agree. So we had Jason Holt and Shinnie start again. I think Holt is he's done well since he's come back in the team. It's nice to see him back. But talk a little bit about the kind of partnership between Holt and Shinnie. It's not really one that we would ever, on paper, really put together as one of our front things. But I think I've got to say, I reckon they should start again against St Mirren from the kind of last two games they have. Would you agree?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Shinnie probably didn't play as well as he played in Dundee against Dundee United. I thought the first half against Dundee United, Andrew Shinnie was one of the best I've seen him. He was so composed. I'm repeating things I've said all the time when I talk about Shinnie, but he's definitely got that experience and just control of the game, and he reads the game well. And there was a couple of times maybe on Saturday he I wouldn't even say he was rushing or whatever, but maybe he could have made better passes going forward. But I think that's been good, is like controlling the game, playing it back when we don't need to be putting pressure on ourselves by going forward. Holt played very well as well. There was maybe a couple of passes gone astray. I've probably seen him play better, but overall, like, that midfield was pretty solid. I'm up. I agree. I like Omiyonga. I'm a huge fan of, obviously, but when he's featured recently, I do feel like he gets booked really quickly, and I think that's actually at the detriment of the team. Given overall this season how many bookings and red cards we've had, it's been way more than any other season that we've had. This year's been particularly bad discipline-wise. Naomi Onga's game is getting in and about in the face. You could say Holt's the same, and Holt did get booked, probably a bit needlessly, actually, out on that wing. The Holt kind of done that. But if you've got Holt and Omiyonga, you've got two players that are, you're putting the team at risk of getting a man sent off, in my opinion. Let's just be frank, like I like that part of their game, but it's the referee and VAR and everything. We are putting ourselves at risk by playing players who go for the ball like that. And Pittman, you could say as well. So if you've got Pittman, Omiyonga, and Holt, which you could argue is our best midfield three, I think with Shinnie, you're getting a wee bit more experience and not putting himself in that position of getting a booking. And it's just been a problem this season, bookings. So I think that's kind of part of it. I mean, I'm guessing, but I think Martindale probably has thought of that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I thought of it. So.
And Stefan scored 2 goals in the reserves today, which is pretty hilarious.
Right on.
He did 2 goals in the reserves, and they won convincingly for the first time in a while. So you never know. I might spark him to score an absolute screamer against the Pandas in a couple of weeks' time. So let's talk about their goal a bit. Obviously, we won't talk too much about it. The whole thing, I guess, it was well played. We thought it was offside. From the highlights, and I saw the VAR line, it does look like Montano plays him, but it looks like the boy played it all right. But very scrappy. The whole VAR of it took fucking ages as well. It was just shite, and like I know they got one back, and I never felt that they were going to come back and beat us or equalise, to be honest. But yeah, talk a little bit about the goal. Were the people around you kind of moaning about it? I was pretty pissed off, but it just takes
Everyone's
so
sick of
bloody
the amount of time VAR takes. Everyone's sick of. Let's be honest. I called it as offside. People around me didn't see it. I was like saying to folk around me, I saw it as onside. So I was like, that'll be really quick, and it's a goal. I was surprised the flag went up. I was like, that was onside, by the way. It was much tighter, actually, to be fair, than I thought when I looked back on it. But it is clear enough. It's not like one that they should spend ages looking at.
Yeah,
I did hear that maybe, or no, no, it was the VAR was called like as no handball. So I was like, all right, I didn't know that. So maybe they were spending ages looking at that. To me, it should be much quicker. You only need to look at that once or twice. It was, but that delivery is what we've not been dealing with. As I said earlier, we've not been dealing with that well enough. It needs addressed. But I have to add, your boy from Queen's Park who got subbed on, I was surprised he never started. I think he's a great addition to their team. And him and Jordan White, didn't they play bad, by the way? I think, wow, I never saw him when he was playing championship football. I never saw him doing what he's doing up at County. He's been great for them, so fair play. Like, listen, County are no mugs. I said it about the Dundee United. They're no mugs. Like, they weren't pish. Dundee United were pish defensively in the first half, but we were up against a team that, again, I said it against Dundee United, they're fighting for survival. They weren't bad, but yeah, we definitely need to address that with defensive problem. But as I say, that boy, what's his name again?
Simon
guy
Murray.
Simon Murray. He's a good player. Like, he's going to be a handful for any defenders. So fair play. Like, he done well and got that, set up that goal. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Girls don't like boys, girls like Simon Murray. Favourite football chant. So
you love that. Man,
I love it.
Actually, on that, like, it was quite a move for him to leave Queen's Park, who are doing so well down there, and they're flying. It just shows as well they didn't necessarily need him. Like, they've got some team doing that. But to go to County, who are certainly down there I think they're bottom now, maybe. I can't remember. They're certainly
very close to, if not joint points.
Yeah, so it's a big move for him. Fair enough. But I thought, he played well. So
yeah, a good point about Jordan White. I thought as well, but you know what? I reckon he would have been he'd be quite a good addition to the team if we did, especially just adding something different to Anderson, and obviously he's played a lot better. If they go down, it'd be interesting to see if he would
happily have him. Yeah,
have him come back. Yeah.
Well, look who we've got. Guthrie, who's just not up to it. Jordan White is clearly a better player than him.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see who he brings in the summer. So the Player of the Year, I didn't have this down, but the Player of the Month awards went up. It seems like quite a quick run of games, and it was Luigi, Joe, I think Devlin, and Holt. I need to double check that. I don't know if you saw that Twitter poll, but just in general, who has been your Player of the Month over the last few games?
Oh, I've not actually seen the poll, so I don't even know who is top of that.
Luigi's top at the moment. Actually, I voted for.
You're not meant to. You're meant to. Spoiler alert! Like, now I'm clearly going to. I'm going to go. Well, it's Luigi. Yeah, it's definitely Luigi. Tough call. Devlin had one great game. Newbley coming back. It's been huge.
Yeah.
Probably Newbley for me, but I can see why Luigi is.
Yeah, let's say I voted for Newbley, but I quite like it for Luigi to get it just as a general kind of confidence booster, kind of going into the.
I agreed.
let's talk a little bit about the St Mirren game. I've not got kind of like specific points and anything like that. I just wanted to kind of talk about such a huge game. We don't really play that well there. It's always a shite game or some sort of, we feel we're left disappointed. But do you think with a victory against County, how serious we are about trying to get top six? What's your vibes? I'm asking you from a positive Povey vibe. Do you feel, would you take a draw, or do you think
100%. 100% take a draw, because it's still in our hands. It's we're still a point ahead of them. So,
yeah.
and nobody can catch us below St Mirren after Saturday. So, of course, anything that results in us still being in top six, absolutely. I think a point against them would be massive. So yeah, my feelings that I don't think we should go for the point. I think we need to go out and look at some of the games we played this season. Whatever we had going on when we went to Tynecastle and we were 1-0 up, should have been 2-0 up apart from missed penalty. Whatever the preparation, whatever it was for that type of game, that's how we need to be prepping for this game, because it is massive. It is like, I said it last week about one game at a time. That's why I didn't want to think about St Mirren until we knew we were in a position to be like thinking about top six.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a win would just create such confidence and put us in such a good position. 4 points clear St Mirren. It's actually still a bit like on the dreamy side for me to think, and that sounds mad, but St Mirren have been class this year. They're really, really going to be difficult to beat. We've struggled against them this season. And saying that, I was at that last game when we lost at Paisley Prick Park. It was so frustrating because VAR fucked us over, and we were right in the game. We could have easily won that game, actually. So,
was that the ballooned penalty? Was that Sean Kelly's balloon, that game?
Balloon penalty, yeah. Another missed opportunity, that one. Yeah, one of those missed opportunities, that game. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure VAR fucked us over. It was something to do with, I can't even remember. Now, I recall VAR fucking us over, so like, let's just assume that's the case.
I think it was their goal.
I almost bloody caught the penalty that was Kelly skied. That would have taken us 2-1 ahead. Mm-hmm. They had 10 men, didn't they? And they beat us with 10 men. Maybe we didn't get fucked over. Maybe we just fucked ourselves over, sorry. Yeah, frustrating game because it felt like against 10 men we should have beat them.
Yeah.
And there was obviously the red cards at the home game as well. So probably going to be a feisty one. I really think the club need to get a support behind them. I know this sounds, but I might as well use this platform for all 55 of our viewers or listeners. But like, we really, really could do people going along to that game and giving the team a massive lift and support. How good would it be? I might be talking dreamland here, but like, it's not that far away, Paisley. We need to be getting behind the team at this point. And this is a huge, huge game. If people are like banging on about the throwing away the opportunity to get Europe or whatever, sorry, we're not throwing it away yet. That county 3 points has given us a massive chance. So now's the time to get behind the team. I'm going to be there anyway, and I really think it would make a difference. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like, no, I totally agree.
It's just such an important point of the season. These next few games we've got left before the split. This could, if we win, we've really set ourselves up nicely for the split to get in the top six. A point would be massive as well. I'm not going to lie, I'd be absolutely delighted with a point. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling going into this game.
Yeah, no, I kind of got like a nervous belly. You just talking about that there because it's just so huge, and we need to perform, and it will be interesting the way it goes in the end. But positive vibes today, positive vibes. We're gonna do it. We've got top 6.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my stone. So well done, lads. And yep, we'll see you in Paisley in a couple weeks' time.
What do you think, lineup-wise? What would you like to see?
I don't think dissimilar to what we've been playing. I wouldn't say Penrice there. I'd put Bradley back in. I think it'll be a game for Bradley. We've not seen him against them at St Mirren. I just like the aggressiveness of us of taking chances and taking shots. And see if we ever take a shot and it balloons over the bar, I actually don't give a fuck, or it rolls to the keeper. I think we should be making chances. I don't think these teams are good enough. Second balls are key. Second balls are key, and someone like Bradley, someone like Nuble's shooting, he's used for different things, but guys like Bradley, guys like Shinnie, Devlin got a bit of confidence. I think Holty still takes shots as well. These guys are key to be breaking up the play, but also be trying to be more aggressive against teams like St Mirren, who ultimately could fuck it and make a spill instead of maybe against the top 6, who defensively might be a little bit stronger. So yeah, the only thing I would change is put Bradley in. But like I said, it did work so effectively with, maybe as you said, with the cover for Devlin. So I don't know what your kind of thoughts, but I think we just need to just keep on the front foot, keep fucking shooting, get a chance, and one touch hit. Put pressure on them. Don't need tippy tappy stuff. As many balls in the box as possible. Put them under pressure, and I think if we do that, we will get success. You?
Yeah, I love that. Love that. No, I agree. It's interesting Stephen Kelly's not featured too much because he's scored some important goals for us in recent. Well, not in recent games, but in some important games. Thinking of Tynecastle again. I wouldn't be surprised if he started, but equally, he's not. He wasn't really part of that game against County. It's a totally different game, though. We're away, and we need to be aggressive, as you say, and just go for the. We need to be attacking as well. That's a massive thing. Like, I'm into the Bradley starting against St Mirren as well. I don't know how to call it. I think Davy's got a really tough decision. There's some obvious starters though, and Anderson, Nubley, Shmuel George. No, you know what I mean. Like, we got some obvious starters, and we're obviously going to see Pittman.
Yeah. I'd be quite excited. I wouldn't be against Kelly starting over Pittman, but Pittman does so much off the ball that I don't think I even really notice about him, how aggressive he is. So we just need to see. Like you said, it's a great point. I think he's got a total head scratcher for this game because it means so much, and I really hope they just don't shit the bed. I would much rather go for it and get beat than shit the bed. Go for it. These last 3 games, go for it as best we can. Be aggressive. Don't kind of be worried about making mistakes and not make top 6 than, just playing shite tippy tappy and not even giving them a game, and then we lose out by 3 draws because we've just been too scared to make mistakes. I don't know how you feel about that. That will be. I mean, the thing is, I'll still moan about it if we don't make top 6. So I don't know what I'm fucking saying. Either way, I'm going to moan about it. But
it's so tight. It's like, we're not chucking it yet. That was such an important 3 points on Saturday. So it's a huge game. But in my opinion, the team deserve to have as many of us there as we can, because there's more away games than home games before the split. I know times are tough and it's bloody expensive to follow the club, but this St Mirren game is humongous. I really think it would be good to get, and I believe the guys are who run that bus they're running a bus, which is great. That makes a huge difference. So fingers crossed that we get behind the team and get the points.
Okay, it is now time to play our final edition of Livy Guess Who, as I've played people individually. I beat Tam, Shagger, lost against Owen because he picked some fucking random pick, as naturally as Owen would. So the final game, myself against Povey. Povey, are you ready to play our edition of Livy Guess Who?
Ready to rock.
Rock. Okay, I'll go first. Is your player a current SPFL, current Scottish? No, current. Is your player a current player?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Is your player? This is hard. Is your player playing? Has your player played for Livingston since we won promotion from the Championship?
No.
Okay.
Is your player Scottish?
No. Is your player retired?
Yes. Is your player a midfielder?
No. Did your player play in the season when we finished third in the SPL?
Yes.
Oh.
Is your player? Did your player play? And actually, same question again. Did your player play when we finished third?
What is that a thing? I thought you had to ask different questions.
It's my game, my ball, my game. I make the rules.
Yes.
Thank you. Go on.
Is your player Scottish?
No.
Just gonna steal yours. No.
Is your player international?
What does that mean?
Not from the UK.
He is international, yeah.
Okay.
Is your player Spanish?
Yes. Is your player defender?
Yes. Is your player an attacker?
No. Is your player French?
No. Is your player Oscar Rubio?
Yes.
So's mine. I think I win though.
One's a win, even if the same player.
Yeah, I won that because you asked first, so there you are.
I'm thinking so. Next, I was going to say, is yours Oscar Rubio? Because I was like, it's either Brad or Rubio.
You sound exactly like me.
All right. Well, we'll take the 1-0 Povey. So that's, oh, God's sake, I'm getting pumped now. So Tam would say we need to have a playoff final at some point. But well, congratulations, Povey. Hope you enjoy your sad little life, all your decorum of a reversing dump truck, as the come down maybe we say.
Man, out of all the thousands of players,
I know.
or however, I don't know, certainly hundreds of players, I don't know, you're into the 1,000 odds.
I know.
We picked the same Shagger. That is ridiculous.
Listen, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Friend of the show.
Both have Oscar in the mind.
Amazing.
Rubio.
Thanks very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out our previous episodes that include interviews with Livingston legends such as David Fernandez, Barry Wilson, John Guthrie, Sean Byrne, and many more. Check out our social media. Twitter and Instagram is @AlmondviewPod. Facebook and YouTube, just search for Almondview Podcast. And make sure to subscribe to wherever you stream your podcasts to be notified about when we drop new content. Forza Livy, hope to see you all next week.